Can we talk about some college football with you, Peyton?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Connor has a question for you. Your answer, hey, your name, your family, your father, your brother, your nephew, big part of the conversation. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Peyton, obviously it's SEC Media Day / week now with everything going on / month / entire year just because of what the SEC is. But with Texas coming in, Oklahoma coming in, obviously it's going to look a little different. Saban, he said, hey, Texas isn't going to run the SEC. And then all of a sudden he's picking Texas to play Georgia in the SEC championship. How do you think it's going to change kind of college football with those two teams joining the SEC? And then are there any wagers maybe, friendly little, hey, if Texas loses to Tennessee, Arch, you're going to have to wear my jersey for a week? Or what's going on there, do you think, with the SEC in Texas?
No wagers there. Eli and I always usually have some kind of something on the Tennessee-Ole Miss game. I had to wear an Ole Miss jersey on our Monday night show a couple years ago. That was hard pill to swallow, losing to Eli. But look, I think it's going to be awesome for the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to the Tennessee-Oklahoma game in Norman this year. I think it's Oklahoma's first Southeastern Conference game. They're playing my Tennessee Vols in Norman, not too far from Denver. So I think there are going to be some immediate rivalries created with Texas and Georgia, Texas, Alabama, right? Oklahoma, Tennessee. It's not going to take long to create these rivalries. Obviously, A&M, Texas, bringing that back, that's awesome, right? Bringing Texas, Arkansas back, I think that's awesome. So both those teams are going to fit right into the conference. It made an incredibly difficult conference even harder. So, look, my allegiances are always to the Tennessee Vols. You see my Smoky T-shirt I have on right there. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm pulling hard, for my nephew. I'm proud of him, how he's handled himself at Texas, and looking forward to, watching him throughout his career there. So I've always been an SEC guy. I visited lots of places out of high school. I went to Notre Dame. I went to Michigan. But, my final three were kind of all SEC schools, right? Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss. I knew that's the conference I wanted to play in. My dad played in. Eli played in, and so I'm proud for my nephew having a chance to play in this conference.
Obviously, Jesus Christ, okay, like that, never ever, but it is a religion down there. It really is, and I think that is what I've learned through College Game Day the most. Like, obviously, watch the games, the primetime games down the SEC, but growing up in Pittsburgh, that's an NFL town, that's not a college town. I go to West Virginia, our team really good. So as soon as I hear all the SEC, it's different in the SEC. It's like, all right, Pat White will go run for 250 against you guys. Did Georgia, did Mississippi State, did just Auburn, he did that. So for me, it was not like the easiest to just understand what it is in the SEC. Then I joined Game Day and I get dropped in there and it's like, holy shit, it is different down here. It is very much a religion. It's like, hey, generations have done this. And I think it's because there isn't as many professional sports. The NFL maybe doesn't have as many teams. You grew up down there in Louisiana and in SEC country. It's just different, always has been, always will be. And that's seemingly the message that Sankey's continuing to say, too.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pat. It's just not, it was fun to play at Tennessee at a place where they were talking about it year round, right? They're talking about the recruiting class in February, right? They're talking about how spring practice is going. I love playing at a place where everyone cares about it, right? The players, coaches, all the fans throughout the state. And, when I went to Indianapolis to play for the Colts, that was probably the coolest thing to sort of see this transformation there in Indianapolis of becoming this football town and state, right? In 1998, when I got there, Indiana basketball was huge, car racing was huge, and to see Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison and everybody kind of help turn it into a football town, I was comparing it to my Tennessee experience where it was year-round. I think everybody wants to play in a town where it's a year-round thing. There's a real passion for it for the fans, and there's no better passion than in the Southeastern Conference. That's a fact.
People care, man. People do. That's all you want to do. You want to play in a place where people care.
Yeah.
That is legitimately what the goal is, because that drives you a little bit, motivates you. And then obviously wins and losses are what everybody's working towards and helping your team. But whenever you're putting a community into a place of betterment with your success, it's like that is what sports are here for. As you froze there, had a good blink in the middle of your entire time. Do you think there's a chance here now, Peyton, with college football and college sports as a whole? Because Big Ten people just heard what you said, and they're like, in the South it's this. Big Ten, there's some schools in Big Ten, not every school in Big Ten are like, oh, shut up. Okay, like we're tired of it. But that is really like the story. That's becoming the story almost in this entire thing is like Big Ten SEC conversation. And I assume that there's a lot of pride coming from the people of the SEC because the way you hear Sankey talk about it, I just assume he is representing every human in the Southeast. Do you see that being the future? And how are you worried about it? Because you just talked about how there's going to be new rivalries created with Texas. It's like that is certainly an upside that is going to come from these changes that's not really being talked about. Are you worried about it as somebody who loves college ball?
Sure. I mean, look, I want it to be competitive all the way across, right? I don't want there just to be one conference that only those are the only teams that fans are caring about, right? So, we just had our football camp, our passing academy. We had 45 college quarterbacks from all over the country, and you kind of get to know them and you pull for all of them, small school guys, conferences all around the country. So, I'm a fan of college football. College football should be different than the NFL. There's something unique about college football. The bands, fans traveling on the road, right? Those are unique things about college football. I don't want to lose that. And I don't want, colleges in different conferences in different parts of the country not to feel that passion and not to feel like, it's important, right? So hopefully some way we can figure out where every team, feels that importance and feels relevant and, there's a place for everybody.
I think everybody's echoing the same sentiment that has a brain. Like what you just said there is right on par with basically like Saban saying the same thing, like all the big Herb Street saying the same, like all the big names in college football are all saying the same thing. Hopefully we'll be able to figure it out, even though there's a lot to do.